Welcome back to Scale Auto Guys Workbench. Today we're going to be building a classic 1998 edition of AMT's 70 Monte Carlo Super Sport 454. And this baby is molded in green. I really like this color, so I think what I'm going to do is I'm just going to clear coat this to hopefully get rid of a few scratches that were in the body from being in the box unprotected, and hopefully that turns out well. First up, let's look at the chrome tree, and it is bright. This is the brightest chrome I've seen in quite a while. You have your stock Raleigh wheels, and of course that gleaming front and rear bumpers. Beautiful, beautiful chrome. First up is your suspension and hood. You can see in the hood how it's got some scratches in it from being inside this was inside the bag. So hopefully I can clean that up and get some clear over it, and it'll bring back that shine. Now this suspension is what they call multi-link rear suspension. Not my favorite kind of suspension to assemble, but it is what it is. That's typical 70s General Motors product. Well, of course that went all the way up into the mid to late 80s, that 4-link suspension, and I don't know how far back it went, but it went back quite a ways, at least 68 or 69. In this particular kit, it has the separate frame, which I really love because you can. It's so easy to detail. So easy to detail that. Let me set these aside here. And then, of course, you have your chassis pan, which I find it kind of unique that it has a. I don't know if you can see that. Yeah, you can see that on the camera. It has a unique pattern in it. I've never seen one quite like this before. It's usually just smooth plastic. This has got a texture. It's kind of weird and kind of neat all at the same time. On your next tree, it's got your front seats. It even comes with an air conditioning line, which is kind of cool. And your wheel backs. Next one up is your door panels and rear seat, and that has the same texture as the chassis. I guess that's to give you a simulated carpet? I don't know. That's kind of weird. I've never seen one like that. It's usually smooth. Next tree is your rear drive shaft and differential, and it's a multi-piece exhaust system too. So that's going to be really cool to detail. It'll be easy to detail, I should say. Next up is your intake manifold and various engine parts, your steering wheel, and the rest of your exhaust system. It would have been nicer if they would have, instead of having these just blunt ended, I don't know if you can see that, just blunt ended, if they would have had these hollow. I think it would have looked looked a little bit better. And the last tree is your engine, the big 454. You got your dash and your firewall and radiator support and all that other stuff in there. It even gives you pieces for the fan shroud, upper and lower parts, heater hoses, radiator hoses. I've never seen quite detail in a kit. That's kind of cool. Usually they have, your upper and lower radiator hoses, and that's it. This one actually comes with heater hoses and air conditioning hoses, and yeah, this one's going to be a lot of fun to build. I can't wait to get started on it. And then the direction sheet. Yay, the direction sheet. Well, at least they have the... Whoa, these are kind of stuck together. It's been folded up for a good many years. It gives you very detailed instructions on how to put everything together. Yeah, this has been sitting around on my shelf for, at least 20 years. Maybe even a little bit longer than that. I don't even remember where I bought this kit or where I bought this kit. I just remember opening, taking the plastic wrap off the box and looking inside, putting the lid back on the box, and that was the end of it. Oh, I forgot. Well, I should say, I almost forgot. 4 Goodyear G78 15 tires, and they're solid. So those are going to be fun to get the wheel backs and stuff in. They should push right in there pretty easily. And you have the taillights. This is the only red tree that came in the kit, just the 2 taillights. Your decal sheet's pretty basic and simple. 6 different license plates. So you have a choice of those. And your clear tree. Gosh, how did I even forget about this stuff? Not sure what that thing is for. Oh, I bet you that's kind of one of those washer fluid bottles, or maybe a radiator overflow. And then, of course, your front and rear windows and headlights. And that is it, except for one thing. How many of you guys remember the Blueprinter? You could sign up and get the Blueprinter magazine. Six issues for $10, 12 for $20. That was a deal. Well, enough of this. Let's get on to building this kit. It's gonna be a ton of fun to put this one together. There's so much detail in it, and really, honestly, I can't wait to get this one finished. There's not a whole lot of chrome on this car, except for along the bottom, of course. Well, there's a little bit more than average, I suppose, but it's going to be really cool to get this put together. So let's get started on it. First off, we're going to do a little bit of engine cleanup and assembly, and then it's off to the paint booth. See you in a minute. Okay, fellas, as I told you in my intro, I wanted to, I really like this color green. I've got everything all set to go here. I'm getting ready to put it in the paint booth and start primering the parts that I need to primer. And I told you like I said, I told you in the intro that I wanted to keep this color because I really did like this color. Well, I had a little mishap. The clear coat that I chose to apply to the bare plastic body, well, it didn't agree with the bare plastic body. So, I'm still going to keep the same color interior. Of course, the engine parts are going to be painted, and the frame and chassis parts are going to be painted. But this is what I've got for the body. It kind of worked out for the best. Let me take it off the paint stand here. It kind of worked out for the best because, well, the clear coat ate the hood. So I ended up having to totally replace the hood. But now, I don't know if you can see that, I have more of a cowl induction hood as a replacement, and it gives it just a little bit more of a sportier look. It's not as dark of a green as what the original color was, but I think it'll do okay. I still have to clear coat it. I'm waiting for it to gas out a little bit more. I painted this about 2 or 3 days ago, so I'm waiting for it to gas out, and once it's totally gassed out, it's pretty well there. There's a couple of rough spots I need to take care of on it up here on the fender and what have you. But yeah, this is the color of the body. Kind of made me a little angry when I sprayed that on there and it instantaneously ate the plastic. What made it so bad was I took a piece of sprue, a thin piece of sprue, and sprayed that clear on there, and it had zero reaction. I thought I was safe to spray that on the body. I was wrong. I don't make mistakes like that very often, but in this case, well, I did. So I got the colors close, back to the original colors close as I could get it. But I can see now that, yeah, it's not nearly as dark as what the original paint color was. But, oh well, that's that. So, let me get over to the paint booth. I've went through all of these plastic pieces and cleaned up what little bit of flash. I mean, there wasn't hardly any at all. I had to really kind of search for it to find it. So there was a little bit in there, but not hardly any at all. I've cleaned up the engine parts. I'm going to be putting that together in a moment, and then we'll head to the booth. Now, the interior, I believe I'm going to leave the original color. I will be going in and, painting the dash and things like that, accent, door handles and such on the door panels. But other than that, I think I'm just going to leave that alone. I kind of like the color. I don't know why. I just do. On the chassis piece here, well, the floor pan is textured like carpeting. I've never seen this in a kit. I don't think I've ever seen it in a kit like this. So I'm going to have to tape all of this off so I don't get any overspray on it, because I think that'll just ruin it. But the bottom side will need to be painted. Well, maybe I'll just leave that alone. Just paint this gas tank and call it a day, and just paint the frame black and just leave it like that. I believe that's sort of what they look like off the assembly line, but unfortunately, with the change of the color, that's not going to match up. I'll have to think about that for a moment. I mean, there's nothing stopping me from taping that off and painting that, but let me think on that for a minute. I might just go ahead and leave that alone, because honestly, I'm not entering this into a contest or anything. This is just going to sit on my shelf in a display case, just like all the other cars I have. So nobody's going to see the bottom but me. So I think that I'm just going to leave it like that. All these other parts, the suspension parts and things like that, those will get painted. So let's get to the paint booth and let's get to painting. Okay, fellas, while you weren't looking, I got the interior assembled. I got the engine completed. I've got the tires and wheels put together. And I've got all of the primary parts painted. I just need to assemble them. I didn't show all of this because it's very kind of time consuming. And on top of that, I'm trying to shorten my videos up a little bit. I don't know how well I'm going to do, but I'm going to try. Okay, fellas, I've gotten this far with the front suspension and the exhaust. This front suspension goes in, the bottom part goes in pretty easily. Don't forget to put your springs in though. Can you guess what I did? So anyway, don't mix up your spindles or your upper control arms, because they will cross and they will fit together either way. But there's an easy way to figure it out. I mean, if you put this in place and then look at it straight down, if this part here lines up with this part here, you're good to go. If you reverse them, this will be a little bit further back. I snipped them off the tree before looking at the numbers and got them mixed up. But like I said, it's easy to tell. You just... That, and I've worked on the full-size cars with the same suspension, and I kind of know how they set up. This rear four-link suspension is going to be a lot of fun because there's not a whole lot of clearance. Let's see if we... Down in here, down in this area here, I don't know if you guys can see it, but on each side, there's a little ledge. And part of that four-link suspension goes on that ledge. The other part goes to your rear axle. The upper part of the four-link goes here and here into your axle. And then your coil springs go in this place here. So when I get to that, I'll get to that. But let's get this front suspension finished up. And this shouldn't be too much longer. I just have to install the spindles and the upper control arms. Okay, it's time to put the tires on, the tires and wheels. I've already got the other side on. Something I noticed about these rims, now this kit is so fully detailed. Even the rims have valve stems in them. Right there. I was just blown away when I saw that. I've seen guys put those on their kits when they build them. I've never seen them come basically from the factory like that. It's kind of weird. Well, anyway, as you can see on this backing plate here, I painted that black, but the centerpiece is still the original green, and there's a reason why I did that. If I don't have paint on that, it'll give the proper clearances. Now I clean those holes off before I put the wheels together, so there's no paint between this and that. Also, another reason, also it has disc brakes and drum brakes. On the pins here where the tires and wheels mount, what I did is I sanded the paint off on those ends. I'm just going to put just a little dab of glue on that and carefully slide this wheel down over that pin. That way there, the glue stays inside the pin, inside that hole, and it allows the tire to spin, and I'm not getting glue all over it and locking up a tire and that kind of thing. If it's going to roll, I want all 4 of them to roll. I don't want 2 of them to roll and 2 of them not to roll. So in order to hold on a second. In order for me to just put just a little tiny dab of glue, because this thing, this tube of glue, this is a weird one. I don't think I've had one do what this one's doing. It's feast or famine. It all comes out really fast or doesn't come out at all. So just put a little dab of glue on the ends there. Now if these wheels pop off, they pop off. You know, you can just put them back on. Now just carefully line it up and slide it home. Come on, get in there. Oh, I got a stubborn one here. The rest of them just slid right in there. This one is going to be a turd and not want to slide on. Did it go? Okay. Now I'm going to flip it up on its wheels. And I'm going to make sure that those are all straight. And that's it. I'm just going to let that sit for now. We'll be back with the engine installation, and then it's on to the body for the glass. It's bare metal foil time. Okay, fellas, I got all the bare metal foil done. I still have some underhood painting to do and some final assemblies, and then we can push this all together and get it finished up. I hope you're enjoying this so far. This car has been a beast. So let's get this all put together, and I'll see you at the final. Welcome back to the final for this 1970 Monte Carlo Super Sport 454 by AMT ERTL. This is a 1998 edition of this kit. It was molded in green. Unfortunately, I had a little bit of a accident and ended up having to actually paint this car. I tried to clear over the molded in green plastic, and the clear coat that I used did not agree with the plastic. Who knew? Anyway, it doesn't have the original hood because the etching was so bad that I ended up having to replace it. But I got a nicer hood off of eBay that has the cowl induction, so that's a little bit nicer. I got all the bare metal foil done all the way around the car, as you can see. I kept the interior in the same green that the car was molded in. It's just slightly different hue of green from the car, and it gives it a little bit of contrast. As you can see, I went with the stock Raleigh wheels, which I thought set the car off pretty nice. I would have liked to have had the white letter tires like they showed on the box art. That would have made it look that much better. Now, this car has a lot of detail under hood, and I'll show you that in the still images at the end. That came with the kit. That wasn't something that I fabricated and put in there. So it really, the paint was the only issue. The car went together really well. It really looks sharp when it's done. And here you are. I hope you enjoyed this video. If you did, please consider giving it a thumbs up. If you have any questions or comments, you know the deal. Put them down there in the box below the video. If you have already subscribed, thank you very much. I really appreciate all of my subscribers. If you haven't subscribed yet, please consider doing so. It's free of charge, it doesn't cost you anything, and you get to see great looking model builds in the future. Thanks again for watching Scale Auto Guy's Workbench, and I'll see you on the next build.